Hello, hi, I'm Nishant Malhotra from the Middle Road and also the author of the Global Development Impact. So today I'm going to be talking about the Western countries. So I studied in the US, I studied in a lot of other countries I traveled. I mean, they're all fantastic. But I think a lot of people have a confusion when it comes to the Western countries. Now, I have not traveled, I've just studied in the US, so I can't speak for other countries. But what I can today talk about is why US, Canada or other Western countries could be the fantastic match for you, just in case if you want to go for an immigration or you want to study abroad. Or of course, if you want to go abroad, you want to go to America with the long-term purpose that you would be working there and so I'll tell you, America is one of the most fantastic countries I've ever been. I was so thrilled as I traveled around. So I went to University of Michigan Ann Arbor, but then I traveled outside. I went to quite a few cities. So I found actually people. I mean, America is a very diverse country and all are fantastic. But actually, I love the white people. I thought they were one of the most simplest people I've met. I went to China and I found Chinese people also very simple, very decent, and something which similar I saw in America. If you look at America, it's got a landscape which is unbeatable. It's got beautiful cities. I think white women in America are the gold standard. I just love them. They're on all parameters. You know, it could be like not only beautiful or gorgeous, but they're very highly educated. The education system in America is really good. And then they're also a lot with empathy. They really care about the world. They care about the environment, or they care about so many things around the world. So what you would love in America is also the diversity. So you go there, you meet Christian people. It's a Christian country, predominantly Christian country. The fantastic. You go to various places, then you'll see churches at various corners. You could go there, and I'm a Buddhist, but I could go to the church. You could sit down and be at peace at times. I really like what they have is like libraries. Every corner has got libraries, and it's not only it's a very diverse country. So you meet white people, you meet Latinos, you meet black people, and then of course you have people who come from. I met people from Iran who were born brought up in America from either Iran or Levant region or other regions, and I found them to be on more process to present. Of course, I also met Chinese origin people who were again lovely. But what I really liked about them is their culture. Like for example, Midwest is laid back. So if you're going to be using Hollywood as one of the barometers of reading America, then I think you're in for a huge loss. I mean, you really don't know what America is. Usually, American people are very polite. They're very personal. They love their privacy. And what I really found exceptional is also the way the cities are built, and there's so much of greenery around. So if you go to the cities, they have suburbs. You could be staying in a mountain. You come back. The infrastructure is just out of this world. I mean, I feel the high speed trains or subways could be there in a lot of cities, but it's just an amazing experience. So the cities are very beautiful. There are a lot of places you can go to. There are museums, there's art, culture. There's so much of things which you can do. You can go out, have barbecues. I really loved it. I feel that if somebody wants to really go, then America, Canada, a lot of these Western countries have got this own charm. I can't describe it. But of course, a lot of people, when they think about America, they have a very different picture. So that's not. I think white people in America turned out to be one of the least gracious people I've met. For white people, I've met so many people from Europe. When I was in China and Singapore, I used to be very regular at clubs, or I had a lot of friends, and I had some fantastic friends, specifically from the Nordic space. But I would say that America, there's a sort of an extreme charm. I mean, I went to so many networking events, I went to festivals, and there was a lot of happiness around. I just feel that there is something you can't explain in life. Whether it's not only Christians, it could be Jewish people are non-Zionists. A lot of people like just lovely. I I actually, if you look at my also book which I wrote, it's based in America. It's just got a lot of characters. Caroline is is shown as both Christian. She's white, but it shows Christian and Jewish. And then, of course, my book initially had also chapters on people from Islamic faith, but ultimately I sort of removed it, thinking that it might just give a view that I'm trying to focus more on immigration, which I didn't want. But I really, so the people, when I look back in America, and when I look, look at women, like, so the white Christian women sort of really hit me. I think they were really exceptional. I would always say that I saw sort of it's a very well rounded race. Uh, you know, that doesn't mean, of course, Latinos or book after Latinos and black and great. Then, of course, Jewish women, non-Zionist Jewish women, they're just classy, they're fantastic in various ways. And I would say that other women, whom I, of course, meant I like a lot of Muslim people from selected countries, like I spoke about, because they actually really helped me. I mean, I think world does not know, but when you go to America, and when you see them, all the people whom I met, usually of my sample size, were people who are either had bachelor degrees, masters, and PhD. There are a lot of people like that. And in America, like about 80% of them anyway go for higher education. I mean, that's among the statistics. And of course, American-born Chinese. I mean, some of them really helped me. I mean, I really appreciate that. But what I'm trying to say is that when you go to America, it's a whole package. You go to a country which is predominantly Christian, which is predominantly white, but then you have a lot of diversity in it, which you love. I felt from my analysis, and I'm not being either racist. I'm just being, I'm so Buddhist. I'm also in a way white. I'm Indo-European, so I'm half white. You could say half Caucasian, but in a way, that's not the parameter why I'm sort of speaking here. I would say that if you get a chance, you should apply. You should. I mean, I went to China. It was an amazing experience. They're fantastic schools, but you must actually try out the Western countries. You should go to Western countries like America, Canada, and various other countries. It could be Australia, it could be New Zealand, it could be various countries in Europe. But what's so special about American people, whether it's US or Canadian, is that they have a unique sense of culture, and that culture gives a lot of weightage on empathy. It gives a lot of weightage on human values. It gives a lot of weightage on being outgoing, because America, you have so many places you can go. You can go for trekking, you can go for camping. It's just a different feeling. And then they're also very entrepreneurship driven. They're enterprising people. I think people in Midwest, I'll say, are laid back. So if you're going to Midwest, uh, you would not feel that the people are similar to what New York or Washington D.C., which could be a melting pot, Seattle, different things. So there's a lot of variability across states. So, like for example, I found certain people from southern states to be just phenomenal. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it's a different picture from what you see on TV, what you see on television, and what you'll see in Hollywood. Usually, Americans are not loud; they are very simple. And what's great about them is that they have a lot of focus on education. So I fell in love with quite a few women, and one of the major girls, I think she's Jewish. I don't remember her surname, so I sort of forgot her surname, but I think I checked at one point of time. She had done a bachelor's. I'm sure she would have done a master's. So the education system in America is very good. Top 50, top 60 schools are fantastic in terms of infrastructure, in terms of pedagogy, in terms of making them very well rounded. So you can go to American university, and then you can take subjects across different schools. So I went to Ford School, but I went to Gerald Ford School to do masters in public policy. But I could do courses in Ross School. I could do courses in other, given the opportunity. I mean, I didn't take sort of a lot of courses in other schools, but I did take a couple of courses in Ross. And what's so great is that there's a lot of emphasis on personality development. So, for example, they'll be multilingual. There could be a lot of languages they would be knowing. They could be playing violin. They could be playing different instruments. And I think that's very important. I think it's very important to be very creative. I think it's very important to have a very well-rounded personality which is appealing to everyone. I I'm a huge champion of Western culture. I'm also a champion of Eastern culture. I happen to speak very good about Chinese people. Like I said, one of the most decent people I ever met in my life was in China because I went to China first. No, I mean I didn't go to America first, so that's the reason. And but stating that, what I would say is that to everybody, you must get an opportunity if you are in India to see something which you never see in life. Maybe, according to me. I think the American experience was irreplaceable. No, nothing can come close to it. I mean, when I was in China, I think that experience is also irreplaceable. But what the Western countries is like, I was, uh, first of all, the language. So if let's say you speak English language, then you are in a country where everybody speaks English. So your mode of communication becomes much easier. And what I loved about America is the way they've made the cities, the work environment, the ethics will be very high. You will get some of the best jobs in, for example, if you're working in finance, you will get jobs which are some of the best in the world. If you're in sustainable development, the sort of products you'll be working in. I interviewed for a social finance company. I thought I should have got that job. It was something sort of a dream job for me. But the work which I would have done was something cutting edge. I would have done sort of something which is covered in my book. So if you look at global development impact, that is a lot focused on America as a story, but then it focuses a lot on social finance. And what I would say is that you must get an opportunity, go to Western countries. I mean, I grew up in Christianity, so I love a country which has also some respect for Christianity. I was very impressed by Christians. Whenever I went out, which I never saw. I met a lot of foreigners in China or Singapore. But what difference here was that every time I met them, I would hear that okay, they're going to church, or they're going with their wives out or their girlfriends out. They're going to be traveling. They're going for camping. They're going outdoors. They're doing a lot of activities together. Where it was gym. So, for example, I went to Seattle gym. I think it's one of the greatest gyms I've been. About 50 to 60% of I think the people there were 50% at least were women. So you had a very diverse culture there because people not only white, you had Asian community, you had Latinos, you had blacks, and you have African Americans, and you had also people from Islamic countries. Like I mean, there I met people again. People I don't exactly remember, but the people were from countries like Iran or Levant region. And what I've seen is that it's not only white women like other Christians or Jewish who are some of the most beautiful, of course, Latinos and blacks. But I found that if you equalize for education, I was very impressed by Iranian girls who are born and brought up in America or Levant region. So, these are the girls whom I actually also met among the Muslims. They really helped me. One of them even came to have coffee with me in Washington, D.C. She was highly recommended me to, apply for a job, but the job profile wasn't matching. Or somebody from Iran spoke to me. She worked in JPAL and she gave me half an hour and she shared a fantastic perspective. So these are sort of moments which you never forget in life. So I am, though I'm a sort of very diverse guy, a very humble guy, and I might have studied all around the world, which includes some leading schools. I went to China Robert National Business School, which ranked the number one school in Asia. And then I did my exchange at Nanyang Business School, Singapore. NTU is like one of the best universities in the whole of Asia. It's a huge university, fantastic, beautiful university. But I would say that America just had a special charm for me in the end. America was something which I felt like, okay, I have finally come to a country which is like a kingdom of heaven. Like Jesus said, this kingdom of heaven. A lot of times when they said kingdom, it meant clouds. That's what the interpretation is. Like, there was just a special country. And I just loved its culture. I love to be with people across diverse backgrounds, but then of course, I just love white people. Not that I loved all the white people. I mean, I sadly did not meet the best of the best. I couldn't sort of work with them. I couldn't do group work, or I couldn't sort of, get a chance to stay and work with the uh, work in sort of various industries, or I could have had a better perspective. But I would highly recommend. I'm a huge champion of Western culture. I think it gives you a choice. It takes some things to a very core. It builds human rights as a central value. So you're safe. You have a right. You have a freedom of speech. You can decide for yourself. One is that. Second is the way they have created education as the central theme. So if you look at their university has power-packed houses. Like you met people from around the world, and then you get world-class education. Once you get this world-class education, then you get work, and which sort of complements it, and which builds on your degree. I mean, if you have degrees, but you don't have that sort of work experience, then you'll get rusted over a period of time. So you have to keep yourself getting updated. So what I would say is that definitely, America should be there on your radar. Canada should be on your radar. Canada, I think, has the highest number of international students from what I know. Then, of course, there are other European countries, like I said, European countries, Australia, New Zealand, a lot of people are going there. And what your job is to not only sort of build your network and learn, but try to make sure that you stay there forever. If that is, I don't know what you want, but from my end, it was like home. I mean, you could be for all the generations you have given. So let's say if you're not married, or if you're married, then one of the best things you can give to your child is an advanced country. They are born and brought up in an advanced country. They are exposed to things which you are not exposed to. That doesn't mean everything there is good. That is not, but you have to filter it out. But again, at the same time, I am very cool with white people. I mean, white people turned out to be some of the best friends of me. I'm also very cool with Chinese people. Chinese people turned out to be very good friends of mine. By Chinese, when I mean, they're usually from mainland China and Hong Kong, or their origin, their parents are from Hong Kong or from mainland China. That's what I see, because these are the people who actually meant a lot in my life. So you go to America or the other places, you get to meet people from very diverse backgrounds. It's not like everything is white. I mean, it's not like, I mean, like for example, I consider myself white, but of course Americans might not consider that, because they take Caucasians as totally white. Whereas I think, like not only the Indo-Europeans, but Iranians and Levant region, I mean Turkish, they are white. Even Pathan race. If you look at Madhubala, one of the most beautiful women in India, I mean, she was from Pathan background. I mean, she was absolutely white. So what I'm trying to say is that for me, I was like, I mean, even Chinese, they're white. For me, Han race is actually a white race. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it doesn't matter whether it's white or black, which like Michael Jackson said, but if you are comfortable with the place, you will just love it. I just love the American culture. And this American culture is very similar to Canadian culture. It's very similar. I mean, I've not been to Canada, but I know pretty much a lot of people who have gone. I mean, the scenic beauty of the country is so beautiful. I mean, you have mountains, you have valleys, you have seaside. You have a lot of choices to explore. And in my mind, and I'm very sure on that. My research, like I sample size is more than 3,000 people to 10,000. I didn't sort of meet them, but I went various places. So many networking events I did. This is not only in Seattle; it was in Washington D.C. I couldn't explore much Chicago, but I went to Pittsburgh also. When I went to Pittsburgh, there was a festival going on, and it was the greatest time of my life. We saw amazing things. I saw, right, and everybody was happy. Everybody was feeling so much in fun, decent fun, fantastic. So I would highly recommend. I've been sort of a champion ever since I came back from America. That I've been not only a champion for America. I don't want people to think that, oh, he just keeps on speaking about America, or about sort of white people, but all people. I mean, in the sense, I fell for a Latino girl. She was not from America, but she was from abroad, and I mean, she was just simply amazing. Or African women, they have their skin shines and all, they were also fantastic. But what special thing which I've seen in white people in America, I found them to be the most decent of the lot. I felt that maybe they at times were a bit too compassionate on things, which I feel maybe I could be wrong, but I would highly recommend people to explore America. Uh, this would be my 100%. This would be my recommendation. So you go out, you just don't feel what's being played in television or anywhere else. And I highly recommend. I'll come out with more videos. I'll come out with more descriptions. I'll come out with how fantastic. So I've covered America. I've covered the museums. I've covered like various other art and culture events. I love their libraries. It's just an amazing feeling. And I feel like if you really want to see Christianity, then America is the place. I've been going to church all my life. I visit about 2 3 times church in Pune, in India. But the experience which I had in America was timeless, was elegant. And I'm not trying to sort of push Christianity because I'm Buddhist, I'm Theravada Buddhist, but it's predominantly the whole Western countries are Christian countries. So apart from certain countries, I know they have different religion like Islam, like Turkey and others. That's okay. But what I'm trying to say is that uh, you must explore and you must sort of try to make sure that you get a job in the Western countries. You stay there, you assimilate to the local conditions. You don't have to do anything which you don't want to do. Nobody's going to force you that, and somebody is forcing, then you make sure that you take the necessary action. But this would be my high recommendation. I would anytime, although I'm not highly connected with Americans, I'm very unbiased and I don't care about that. But I would highly recommend you to explore America, to explore other countries, Canada, to explore various other countries whether you're looking for, if you're going for higher education, and you need to sort of see the pros and cons along. And so this is Nishant Malhotra signing off. I'm going to come out with more videos. Thank you.